The yellow one.
Alright, so playing in top 8 we have Ben Stark and Owen Turtenwald.
You see Owen Turtenwald on the left of your screen. Owen is playing Faeries. Ben Stark on the right is playing a red-green Valakut escape shift.
And this is Ryan Kibler.
Hello. So both of these players have had a lot of success on the Grand Prix circuit recently. Ben Stark had a couple of top 8s last season, as well as a couple of near misses. Owen Turtenwald had a dominating day 1 performance today. I believe he actually ran it up. Well, I believe he ran up to 12-0 or something insane before losing a couple matches and drawing in the top 8. So this matchup, sort of on paper, is supposed to favor the Faeries deck.
I'd say it's pretty close. Ben has follow too.
Yeah. Oh, he does have follow main. Oh, wow. So it's definitely a matchup that could go either way. And both these players are clearly players playing very well, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Ben does not have follow mains in this.
Martin uses a liar. So Ben has he has a couple of he has 4 lightning bolts.
Switched important part of the match. At the last.
Oh really? He has 2 oracles.
In the last minute.
Interesting. One pretty significant card in Ben's sideboard is actually Combust. Combust, which Ben said he primarily intended for no, it's primarily for God, I'm blanking on Night of the Reliquary, and just similar sort of like large creatures like that. It also happens to hit Mistbind Cliff, which is one of the major threats in this matchup.
When I talked to Ben, he said he wants to bring in all the creatures. So maybe he'll board out Titans or something.
It's definitely a matchup where the Faeries deck sort of naturally is good against sort of the ponderous slow type decks. Though Ben's deck with Prismatic Omen can start threatening damage very, very, very quickly. So the Prismatic Omen escape shift's pretty bad in this matchup. It's definitely a card that will likely hit the sideboard. But with Prismatic Omen, if he manages to resolve an early Prismatic Omen, pretty much every single and he has a Valakut, every one of his lands becomes a 3 damage, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, and the Faeries deck deals a lot of damage to itself, so it can end the game very quickly. So what are the other matchups that we're not watching?
Let's see. We have the list.
I never realized how irrelevant
the rest of the top 8 we have we have our Relax, who's in first place, playing as Christian Valenti,
who is red-green escape shift also, so it's the same matchup.
Oh, interesting. Then we have John Runyon, who is, I'm looking now.
That's all of them? I thought it was just
No, I don't actually have it.
That matchup
so it's just
blue-white against Faeries.
It's Faeries.
Can you guys hear everybody all right?
Ben chat. Anyway.
Wow.
Well, I mean, obviously they can hear me fine, so you're sitting back there. Thanks, guys.
No, stop asking the same question 12 times.
Alright, so, who won the die roll? Looks like Owen won the die roll and is mulliganing. Ben is...
It has a Prismatic Omen, Escape Shift, Explore.
Looks like Ben is keeping his hand.
There you go. Look, you want to see how awful that is?
Sure.
Taco, would you make love to Mirik at Barrier?
Why do they keep asking that? I don't understand what that has relevance. No.
Alright,
It's
so
a card.
Owen is mulliganing. The Faeries deck is one that is pretty resilient to mulliganing. It has a lot of individually powerful cards like Bitter Blossom that make up for a lot of card disadvantage. And this matchup is actually one that you've probably played it more than I have, Martin. What do you think? How do you think this matchup goes in general? Like, what do you think the important cards are, other than
if Ben can get Omen into play on turn 2 and naturally draw the Valakut, then Omen is in trouble. But Owen's playing a lot of discard spells, so it depends on how the first few turns go.
It's interesting that a deck that has so many late game cards like the Scape Shifts and Primeval Titans. It actually has a card that is such a huge threat that they can resolve on turn 2.
And I think Ben's hand has both Valakut and Omen.
Oh really? Yeah, I saw the Prismatic Omen. I didn't get a glance of a Valakut. So that's the most important card in this matchup for Ben is Prismatic Omen. Interestingly, Ben actually only has 3 in his deck. Do you know why he chose to cut 1?
I don't know. He just never want to draw 2, I guess. And like this deck is more like I'll just play Scape Shift and kill you with mountains.
Yeah.
Prismatic Omen basically works just like an extra ramp spell because you can kill them with 6 lands in play.
Yeah, I definitely know their general plan. I got beat about the head and shoulders by both Chris Lockman and Pat Cox, who were playing this exact deck. I really didn't have a chance in either matchup. Pat Cox actually mulliganed to 5 against me in game 2 and completely blew me out. All right, so here we see
Omen, Rampant Growth, Explore, Scape Shift, Forest, Mountain, and a
yeah. I mean, he really just needs to take the
fetch
Prismatic Omen here. So was this did Owen play a tapped land in turn 1?
Yeah,
play a tapped land?
It's a Creeping Torpid.
Oh, it's a Creeping Torpid. Okay.
But Ben does not have the Valakut yet. So.
Doesn't have Valakut, but I mean, Prismatic Omen is still just such a threat. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting that there's certainly the choice of either Rampant Growth or Explore to try to keep his mana under control. But if he lets him just resolve that Prismatic Omen, as soon as he draws Valakut, he's in some serious trouble. So yeah,
it's definitely the card with
not
the
surprisingly,
most potential.
Owen takes Prismatic Omen.
Plays another Torpid.
So Ben fetches up a mountain. With how little concern most people give to the exact specifics of their mana bases, it can actually be in the Valakut decks. It can actually be a huge deal. Which land you get to make sure you have a certain number of mountains left in your deck. I know that the Magic Online star Jayway is actually playing he actually played a 66 card Scape Shift deck in this tournament because he finished 42nd with 66 cards.
I think he was like 10-1 at some point.
That's pretty remarkable. I mean, the sort of common wisdom. Oh, and there's Valakut off the top.
That's pretty nice.
The common wisdom is that you want to have the best chance of drawing your important cards, but
Owen's Zen is Manly, Cryptic, Mistbind Click, and a black removal spell.
So pretty weak hand for him here.
I think it's Pepper Smoke.
Did he only more once?
So Mana Leak's the Rampant Growth. That Mana Leak won't be doing anything pretty soon. So and there's another Rampant Growth to follow it up.
Ben has a really good draw.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah, he already has quite a bit of mana, and Owen with his mulligan is in some trouble if he can't. He has no aggression right here, and Valakut, just like in standard, can sort of just sit back and eventually win the game if you're not pressuring them.
There's another Valakut for Ben, which isn't doing much without Scape Shift or Titan, but once he draws another Omen,
yeah, I mean, his Valakuts very quickly become threats, just from casting things like Cultivate.
That is true.
Yep, plays another Valakut. So now Owen draws. Is that a Bitter Blossom? This looks like a Smother.
He doesn't play Smother in his main deck.
He doesn't? Well, that could be awkward for him if he drew a Smother.
If Owen has a Smother in his hand, then things are gonna happen.
He doesn't have Smother anywhere in his
Could be Grasp of Darkness.
Maybe that's it.
Well, whatever the card is, it's useless.
So. And Ben has a lot of land in play, not under any pressure.
Ben's just waiting for another
1, 2, 3
business spell so he can play both, like
if
Scape
he just Scape Shifts.
or
Right, yeah.
Omen and Scape Shifts.
Interesting. Owen actually goes with the 4 Tectonic Edges after sideboarding. He has 2 in his main deck and 2 more in his sideboard.
Sweet.
It's kind of filthy. All right, looks like Ben may just be casting Scape Shift here.
He doesn't have 4 green mana.
Yeah, he has a... Oh, he doesn't. Okay. That's interesting. I don't understand why he would do that.
Why did he play the Scape Shift?
Yeah, that seems like a strange decision. I mean, he knows that Owen, only has
4 mana up.
Yeah, Owen's stuck on land. Oh, and
is it Omen?
That's Omen and Scape Shift. Oh wow.
Oh,
well,
okay. So that's why he played it up.
Got it. That makes sense.
I mean, he has to take the Scape Shift, otherwise he dies.
Yeah. If he lets him Scape Shift this turn, the game ends. But if Omen resolves, the game mostly ends.
And then draws.
Then draws a Rampant Growth. So. And he has Fetch and a Rampant Growth. So. He can't kill Owen quite yet. But
if Ben was planning on casting Scape Shift and next turn another Scape Shift, it didn't make any sense to play the fetch land. He wasn't planning on using it.
If he wasn't planning on using the green mana and playing, for instance, the Prismatic Omen that turn, I think he probably should have kept the land in his hand.
I know he would have been able to do 3 more damage.
Oh, 6 more damage.
Hold on, he can still 6.
But he's 2 Valakuts.
Oh, he has 2 Valakuts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. But he's fine with taking 3 damage.
Yeah, I mean, Owen is dead to any card in Ben's deck, basically.
Situated Blend, revealing Bitter Blossom. Okay.
That's not going to cut it. You needed that a long time ago.
Owen's hand is mentally missed by Inflict with Black Removal Spell.
And this is the Titan. And there we go. We're going to game 2. So, we were talking about how the red green deck, it has the tools to beat Faeries. Clearly, as we saw that game, it has a lot of serious threat cards, and if the Faeries deck can't put it under pressure, Owen's draw there didn't really have any way to, force Ben on the back foot. So, how does the sideboarding look like?
Owen's going to board out probably older removal spells, but maybe he... it depends how he thinks Ben is going to sideboard.
Right.
Board in all the guys.
Ben's sideboard has
4 Great Sable stacks,
4 stacks,
Bailouts,
4 Bailouts. He has
2
Combusts, Fallouts. So
there's 12 possible cards.
He has a lot of cards he can bring in. We possibly get some insight into this. Pat Cox sitting right here, who also played the deck. Wait, how do you think Ben's going to board?
We board in all the guys.
Combust too?
So we board in the Bailouts and the Stags, and we take out Scape Shift, and usually 1 Titan because it costs a lot, and some amount of ramp, definitely Harrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sided in Combust because if they click, with the champion on the stack, you can kill it and then do whatever you want.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you keep in Lightning Bolt?
I was keeping in 3. I think Ben might keep in all 4. I mean, this cyber strategy was all his idea.
Well, so what do you board out? It's 1 Harrow for Scape Shift. It's 5. What else?
A Harrow for Scape Shift, a Titan.
1 Titan.
Do you keep in the Oracles, or do they hit the sideboard?
Well, I was playing 2
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to get Brad a deck?
Fallouts instead of the Oracles.
Okay.
That was the main difference between our decks.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure if he keeps them in or not.
Okay.
But a kind of awkward thing I was talking about with him was once people know our deck, then you kind of go back and forth because they may have had in their walls.
Oh,
or
yeah,
they
yeah.
have.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what exactly is in Owen's deck.
Interesting.
But,
Owen actually does not have Wall of Tanglecord. He
prefers
his
Vampire
sideboard.
Nighthawk.
Yeah, the plan that LSV, Owen, that whole crew went with, who are all playing Faeries, they actually played Vampire Nighthawk in their sideboard as their sort of way around Great Sable Stack, which is interesting because Nighthawk, while it can basically race and also provide a threat against opponents when you're not actually facing down something that you want to block, which is one thing that's very important for Faeries to be able to do. Faeries isn't a deck that can control the game forever. Faeries is a deck that is able to sort of tempo the opponent out and race them, and Nighthawk's a great card for that.
The best thing about Nighthawk is that it dodges all the sideboard paid, like Fallout, Cloud Treasure, Cunning Spark Mage.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's good in the mirror too. If they both have, or if one of the player has Bitter Blossom and the other has Nighthawk, he gets to live
like way longer.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It's to draw.
That's interesting stuff.
I mean,
So,
I don't think his sideboard plan, or whatever he has in the sideboard, doesn't seem too bad for us, like for our sideboard plan. Like it seems pretty good for Ben.
So how do you think that Owen's going to sideboard? Certainly, Disfigure comes out. That's not doing anything.
Well, he has Oracle and Muda. I mean, he's
yes. I mean, I
try to have
suppose
Doomblade
that's
or
something. So Pepper Smoke comes out for sure.
Yeah.
Disfigure,
Very likely
and
to,
Grasp of Darkness. Grasp is probably more likely to stay in because it can kill Obstinate Baloth.
Spellstar Sprite is not very good.
Yeah, Sprite is pretty bad in this matchup.
I mean,
think
I've
he's
had
gonna
people bring in
board
Wormcoil
into
against me.
Nighthawks.
It kind of depends on if he thinks I'm going to like side out Scapeshift or not.
Wormcoil, I think, actually seems like a very good card here. It's the sort of card that can let you sort of go over the top of some of the things that they're looking to do. You need a way to beat Volcanic Fallout.
Ben is boarding out 4 Lightning Bolts, a couple of Expeditions, and he's keeping all Scape Shifts, it seems.
That's interesting. It's also very interesting that he's boarding out Lightning Bolt if he knows that Owen has Vampire Nighthawk. Because if his plan is Great Sable Stag, he can very easily get raced by Vampire Nighthawk if he doesn't have Lightning Bolt.
Man, all Scapeshifts, it's crazy.
I mean,
I guess maybe it's just like he's trying to like go back and forth with them, like thinking he's going to like side for the creature plan, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean it's totally reasonable.
But
because like if he sides in Wormcoil, it's like taps after that and just like Scapeshift, you're dead.
Why is Expedition worse than Rampant Growth?
I don't know, Expedition's like actually pretty good. I mean,
yeah, why is he boarding it out?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's boarding all of them out.
Cards. Like even Cultivate's worse than those.
You're taking the Omens and it being such a good choice too.
Yeah.
Because I top pick the balance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's right.
I mean, I think it could go either way depending on your hands.
So, interesting decisions on both players' part. We didn't get a chance to see how Owen is sideboarding. What do you think he's going to do? You have more experience with Faeries than I do.
I think it all depends on how Owen thinks Ben is going to sideboard.
Right, yeah. I mean, there definitely is an interesting mind game there, depending on, okay, if he's doing this, I should do this. If he's doing this, I should do this. Right, so the match between
Jason Ford
and trying to figure out his opponent.
Charles Gindy.
Oh, and Gindy. Jason Ford and Charles Gindy are in game 3. Arulax is up a game.
I always forget that now you're allowed to look at your side.
And the remaining match is actually still in
so
game
I'm used
1.
To, like,
so
it constantly,
we'll keep you updated on that when we have more results.
Yeah. But, like, obviously, it's not necessary to do that incessantly. Like, during the game, when your opponent's thinking, you just pick up your board and look at it now, right?
These guys are taking quite a bit of time shuffling.
You think Owen's going to board out the Sprites because they don't do anything?
Yeah, Sprite doesn't really stop anything.
Unless you have Bitter Blossom, it's basically a dead card.
Mm-hmm. So, probably take out 2 Pepper Smoke, 2 Disfigure, 4 Sprites? And you take out all those cards? Boarding in Spell Pierce, Tectonic Edge, probably, maybe Sower. Wormcoil,
Sower dies to Fallout.
Yeah,
Sower's
Sower's probably too bad.
Well, he only has 2 Fallouts, so...
Yeah, so he has...
Maybe Sower's fine.
Sower could be good.
So we have our opening 7. Owen's hand is 7 lands. No, 6 lands and Manly. He's not gonna keep that.
Yeah, Owen definitely gonna go back for that, for a new one.
Scape Shift, Omen, Explore, Valakut. That's a mulligan, I think.
Oh. Is he...
Did you see a forest in there?
I didn't see Green Land.
I think there was a Verdant Catacomb.
Okay.
Was it?
I think so. A Verdant Catacomb.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, if there's a green land, that's definitely key.
If there's a green land, then Benson is basically the nuts again. Well, not the nuts. But
I mean, he has a couple
really
of
good,
escape shifts
yeah.
and not that many land.
He has 2 Explorers.
But I mean, if those don't draw him land, he's... I mean,
Well,
granted,
yeah.
the deck has a lot of land in it.
I mean, like, you can't mulligan too aggressively with the deck because you're, like, trying to, like, accelerate and play a land every turn, so, like, you have to have, like, all of your cards.
That makes sense. And we all know that Americans never mulligan anyway, so...
Listen, man.
Mulligan to 5 against him.
Yeah, he did. They beat the hell out of me.
Good justice.
How's that justice?
Mulligan his bad hand and got rewarded. So do you think Americans should mulligan more?
Looks like we have a result. We heard some clapping from the speech match area. As to your question, I think most people should mulligan. I think most people don't mulligan.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I mean, not really, but. Gindy lost. How do you know?
I don't know. Oh, apparently someone is tweeting the results. We have Megan on the floor. MTGmom.com.
Yeah.
So Jason Ford will advance to the semifinals. Charles Gindy will have to settle for top 8.
I know you got second.
I'm very happy to see Gindy doing well. Gindy sort of had a a rough beat after that World situation with the disqualification, and he actually needed the points from Worlds to stay on the train, and fell off, wasn't qualified, and hopefully he makes another run at it. He's a very good player.
I don't even think he used his L3 invite last year.
Really, just didn't really want to play.
Yeah,
understandable.
Like San Juan's, really close to Florida, didn't go.
That's Tectonic Edge, Mana League. Looks like Vampire Nighthawk and Spell Pierce? And Jace, I think. No, it's a Swim. It's a Swim, Tectonic Edge, Nighthawk, Spell Pierce, Mana League. Explorer's gonna get Spell Pierced and Vendra Valakut, not bad. And a Mountain.
Spell Pierce.
Oh, that's sweet.
So that was a pretty key Spell Pierce, and a Nighthawk comes down.
That's a great table stag.
That's a stag for Ben, but he doesn't have a second green, I don't think. And he explores into another stag. Still no second green. So
he doesn't have a line.
And
ooh,
this game, Owen definitely going on the offensive. Cracking for 5 now.
Ben 15, Owen 22.
That's a combust in Ben's hand, which can kill the 3/2 line, the man line.
Cannot kill Vampire Nighthawk. Thoughtseize. Seeing that's an awkward hand.
5 cards for double green.
5 cards you can't cast at a combust. All right, well, I'm pretty sure he's taking the combust here. Help him get damage in. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if Ben draws a forest, he's gonna cast Escape Shift just to get like more green mana or something.
All right, Ben down to 10 life. He draws. That looks like a mountain. If only Owen had Spreading Seas like in Standard.
How many spell pierces does he have?
He has 2.
You draw a little Jace.
I think he just wants to keep getting the damage in.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah. So
Ben
Ben to 5.
Ben 5.
Playing Jace and drawing 2 extra cards doesn't
Yeah, no,
really
it doesn't
get
matter.
anywhere.
Ben's dead.
And
there he goes.
4 of a kind.
So that was definitely a different game than we saw last time. The Faeries deck able to go on the offensive and take a quick win. So I think Ben Stark will be going back to his sideboard, getting those lightning bolts back in his deck. The escape shifts. The escape shift certainly looks pretty awkward that game, and knowing that Owen is bringing in Vampire Nighthawk, unless Owen clearly goes and does some major sideboarding, maybe he's just messing with Ben. So this is, again, sort of a game of back and forth. I think in general, Escape Shift seems pretty bad in this matchup.
I think Stack was bad this game, not Escape Shift. Like if he had Lens, he would just.
Well, right. But I mean, if the Escape Shifts were lightning bolts, that game's very different.
That's true.
I mean, up until this point, he had always been saying side out for Escape Shift every time. So I don't know what exactly changed.
It's possible he's outsmarted himself.
Yeah.
So. All right, so what do you think? Do you think they're gonna switch up their sideboarding much for this game?
It seems that Owen did not change anything.
I know that.
He didn't
did he
try
put
to
cards in to try and suggest
Yeah, he didn't
that
even try to make it look like he did.
Oh, I would at least do that.
Yeah, I mean,
make him think about it. Yeah.
Right. You definitely want to make him think twice about how he's sideboarding. Yeah, sure. That's something that I think oftentimes players will they'll just present for game 2. They don't even go back to their sideboard to see, or rather for game 3, they don't even go back to their sideboard to make it look like maybe they're thinking of changing some things. Maybe they have another plan going on.
And like maybe some matchup doesn't matter. Like your card's just like really good against that deck. But like here, it's definitely like there could be a big back and forth. Like
right. Oh, it's
depending on what cards you have, what cards in my deck are good.
I mean, game 1 was a little longer, but so far
it's a huge deal.
Games where the decisions really matter.
Especially if the other guy's changing his deck, right?
Actually, that would
Well, we'll see.
Well, I can draw anything.
The Scape Shift deck, Scape Shift as a card too is a very powerful one that can win the game out of nowhere. So it's understandable, if you think your opponent is on an aggressive plan, you can certainly open the window to just Scape Shift kill you.
Yeah,
I know that some people
is out, like,
they just rip one of their only remaining Scape Shifts.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I may or may not have Identity Crisis used at Worlds and been Scape Shifted the next turn.
Probably did happen.
But all right. So, do we have any updates on the other matches? So we know that Jason Ford won and will be advancing to the semifinals. I don't know. We don't have any updates just yet for the anyone who's waiting to hear from the other matchups. We have a runner going to check it out.
How many top 8s do they have?
Owen, I don't know the number that he has. I know he had quite a few just the past couple seasons. He was in the finals of DC.
Okay, Columbus.
Columbus. He was top 8 there.
I like 2005.
The first legacy.
Right? Goblins.
Yeah.
Well, the text coverage said that Owen debated at least 3 GPs where he went EXO. Is it Jody Keefe or?
Okay, so it looks like that Jody Keefe is up a game against. He's playing against
Jason Ford. Yeah,
Jason.
That's the
No. Jason Ford beat
Jason was playing
Charles Gindy. This is not.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Looking at the wrong thing. And then we Ari Lax against Christian Valenti are going to game 3. They're in game 3. So. And then Jody Keefe is up against. Jody Keefe. Yeah. Jody Keefe against John Ryan. Yes.
The Blue White deck won game 1, isn't it? Blue White against Faeries.
Owen was also top 8 in Minneapolis.
Okay, so Owen has 3 GP updates. Ben has
3 since like coming back. I don't know what he did.
I don't know if Ben. I don't know if Ben really played many Grand Prix like back when he used to play.
I didn't even play them, so I don't know.
I think Ben now has 5 GB updates and 2 PT updates, which is pretty impressive.
In the last 4 GPs, he's been playing for top 8 in all of them. So
he's definitely been. Ben has sort of been renowned as the mastermind behind a lot of draft strategies that put the Channel Black Fireball team, put multiple members in the top 8 in San Juan, and that a lot of people followed in the subsequent formats. This is, I believe, his first constructed GP top 8.
I think he has a Pro Tour.
Yeah, he has a Pro Tour constructed top 8,
but not
Pro Tour limited top 8, and he has 2. This is his 3rd Grand Prix top 8 since he started playing again, and 2 of those are limited. This is his first constructed.
He played Boston, Toronto. Since he came back, he debated Boston, Toronto, and this one.
Yeah.
Got 9th in Nashville. Top
12
in Portland.
He's had a pretty remarkable series of finishes. And I know that the previous season he was actually going to almost every Grand Prix, just trying to scrape up a few points to qualify.
He needed one more point to like get the over 2-year 25-point thing. It was like going to Europe and shit, like sorry, and stuff.
All right, so are we really pile shuffling again? Is this really happening?
I think he mulled, right?
Oh, did he mulligan? Okay, that's reasonable. Yeah, Owen has a hand, so it looks like Owen is going to be keeping his hand. Ben Stark will be the one mulliganing this game. So as Pat was saying, the green red Valakut deck does not mulligan terribly well. It's a deck that needs to ramp into things. That needs all of its land acceleration. Though after sideboarding, things are a bit different. After sideboarding, he's
you
more
kind of turn into like a little aggro deck against Faeries specifically.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like it's not as big of a deal mulliganing here, but.
That's a double mountain. Oh no. Okay. Explore, stack, mountain, evolving wilds, and then another mountain. Yeah.
And that stag's going to the bin.
Leaving
Ben with very little action.
Ben got a game loss this tournament for registering the evolving wilds instead of thermomorphic expenses, or the other way around.
He just had both of them registered?
No, like he's only
probably
playing
like
one
3 and 2 the wrong way or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just casually, misregistering.
Did they make him switch it? Functionally identical cards, game lot. Draws Cultivate.
Which is one of the only cards that let him have some card advantage.
He needs to make up for his mulligan. He's certainly lost some of his possible tempo plays here with the stag in the graveyard. It's interesting to see that Spellstarter's Pride in Owen's hand. So Cultivate and Cultivate will resolve.
One has Cryptic, two edges, Mistbind, Spellstarter's Pride. I think Vampire Nighthawk. Ooh, a second one.
So, this is actually kind of interesting. That Valakut is already pretty threatening. There's already 3 mountains in play. Owen knows that Ben Stark has a pair of Explorers left in his hand, or does he only know about one of the Explorers? But
I think both.
No, he knows about.
No, he knows he has Explore Forest. So that's not too terrible. He's still quite a bit of ways from being able to actually get the Valakut. But if his Explorers hit mountains, then cards like Cultivate, then he's definitely in some trouble. So, is that a
he has 2 Tectonic Edges, Cryptic, Mistbind, Sunken Ruins.
Oh, that is it.
Fire Nighthawk.
That's interesting. I think I'd want to play a Nighthawk here. But he could just tech edge the Valakut, but
it doesn't really get him anywhere.
Right, but he's sort of behind, and Ben has one unknown card. If that unknown card is there's a Primeval Titan. Speaking of tech edging Valakut, there's the one card that he would have wanted to do that for, and wow, that's a huge draw right there.
Well, yeah, that's basically game.
Yeah, so
How many cards?
4. It's basically game right there.
Pretty much, yeah. Wow, that was quite the draw step for Ben Stark.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the maybe the last Titan left in Ben's deck after sideboard.
Did he only have the one?
No, but like he's boarding in all the creatures, so he gets
right,
something.
yeah.
Maybe I'm just wrong.
I mean, I know. I mean, Owen must have been sitting there, just like, okay, like I can, I could possibly tech edge him. Then he can't play Titan. He has one unknown card in a draw step, and that unknown card, wasn't the Titan, but the draw step was.
He's gonna tap Titan to the right card.
So Owen, hopefully, for Owen's sake, he has Deathmark or Doomblade soon.
Next turn, Owen's gonna be able to.
Is it an Omen, I think?
Double edge.
Is that an Omen?
I mean, the forest in front, but the card is true.
Well, double edge just isn't enough. But you still have a Titan.
Oh, he's still, yeah.
And a Stag comes down. So this game turned around very quickly. That Titan.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. Titans, they don't mess around. We just got an update that Christian Valenti has defeated Aurillac 2-1. So if Ben Stark wins this game, which it looks like he very well will, that would mean that both of the Faeries decks went down to red-green Valakut in the quarterfinals.
Best deck ever.
So I was very happy about my deck going to this tournament, but if the red green Valakut deck becomes very popular as a result of this event, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
It is just such a bad matchup.
Yeah, I punted game 1, then multiplied game 2, and still won the match.
Yeah, yeah. So Owen still clawing at it, clawing at the game. Passing. I don't really know. Let's see if another cryptic.
Trust up.
I don't see another cryptic.
He's probably just going to destroy both Valakuts, Ben's going to find 2 more.
So Owen,
Which doesn't really do anything that turn, but
yeah.
he still has the Titan.
Interesting that if he is going to do that, you'd think that he'd want to do it. Are there only 4 mountains in play? Oh, there are only 4 mountains in play. Yeah. Okay. So both Valakuts get destroyed.
22.
Yep.
Probably just getting 2 more Valakuts for next turn.
Yeah. So Owen really needs to draw a way to kill that Primordial Titan. Doesn't have many in his deck.
And he has only 1 Doom Blade.
It's actually sort of interesting. I mean, he could theoretically, this turn, he could have left back Nighthawk. I don't know if he wins that game, if he just sort of sits with Nighthawk back and waits on mountains, because Ben actually couldn't attack and keep his Titan.
That is a very good point.
Gets Valakut. Although, to be fair, I don't know. I can't really see the cards in his hand. So, he may have a plan where he's actually planning on racing that Titan somehow, but that seems pretty difficult. Oh, this game is pretty much over. 2 fetch lands with 2 Valakuts, able to get to up to 6 mountains.
Why didn't you just leave the
Yeah,
Nighthawk
I think he should have just left the Nighthawk back, and then that Titan could have traded, but he at least gets rid of the Titan.
That seems right.
Well, on the other hand, Ben would have been just able to play both lands first, then attack, and
Then he could get Valakut and
before damage he kills the Nighthawk.
There's a concession. So Ben Stark wins the match 2-1. So that means that Ben Stark will be in the quarterfinals. I don't actually know how brackets work. I'm an idiot. So
Later, guys. I just want to watch
we do have them. Here they are. All right. So we have Christian Valenti. Christian Valenti will actually be advancing to play against Ben Stark in the red green Valakut mirror. Then we'll have Jason Ford,
Well, you had 2
who will be advancing to play the winner of Jody Keith and John Ray. And there, I believe Jody Keith is up against. So we're back on us.
So far, it's 3 Valakut decks and 1 unknown deck.
Yeah, I mean, this was given the results that we've seen this season so far. This really wasn't the sort of top 4 that people were expecting to see. The top 8, with the Faeries decks,
really good, like I voted the bolts out.
but
Like,
with these Valakut decks being this dominant, it's pretty impressive, and certainly not the deck that I wanted to play against this tournament.
But I mean,
So this was sort of a deck that came as a surprise to a lot of players. A lot of players, they'd seen the Wargate Valakut decks. I know it certainly didn't surprise you because it's what you play at Worlds. So why did you decide not to play red green Valakut in this tournament?
I kind of wish I played Faeries at Worlds and red green here.
Because like here, there was a lot of like Fauna Shaman Naya decks and like John and everything. And at Worlds,
I thought he was going to board
all 5 colors.
At Worlds, I think people really weren't prepared for Faeries. There weren't nearly as many Stags and Fallouts. There weren't nearly as many just aggressive decks that are good against Faeries. There were a lot of sort of awkward control decks that Faeries preys on, and those decks happen to be pretty good against Valakut too. So
no, I thought it was right. That's why
we thought it was kind of funny that Lucas actually decided not to play Faeries in this event when he had insisted on playing Faeries in Amsterdam, where Faeries is probably the worst deck it's ever been. So yeah, we're waiting for one more quarterfinal match to end.
Jody won.
Oh, we have a result. So the semifinals are set.
To be fair, he played Owen and Tucker too, so probably made it.
There you go. So Jody Keith defeats John Runyon 2-0, I believe. And we'll go on to face Jason Ford. And Jason Ford is playing...
What is Jody Keith playing?
Jody Keith is playing blue-white. He's playing blue-white control.
What does he have?
Do we have our deck list, I believe, disappeared. Can we see the deck list? We're looking for our deck list here, so we can check exactly the contents of Jody Keith's deck. Jody Keith, one of the unknown players to most of us going to the top 8. Who
I'm pretty sure his blue-white deck is gonna have 4 deck lineage. Already.
I believe his deck looks like it's set up very well against the Valakut decks.
Path for Exiles for Titans.
Yeah, counter magic. He has, I believe he actually has Warp Priest of Thune in the sideboard.
Oh yeah.
Like Oblivion Ring is very good at handling the omens. So I mean, it could be an example of one deck that would sort of dominate the event, but another deck that's set up very well against it, taking it down.
I mean, pathing a Titan seems definitely better than just losing to the Titan.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I'm not sure what's correct for a lot of decks. I played when I played against Pat Cox in game 2. He mulliganed 5, and he was able to win from that mulligan to 5 because of Primeval Titan. And I was sort of debating, well, do I want to have Path in my deck? Because Path only really hits Titan. But like if they cast a Titan and it stays in play, the game's just over. So I sort of went back and forth, played a couple paths, took out my paths, and in game 2 I didn't have any paths in my deck, and I just lost flat out to a Titan. And if I'd had a path to exile, I would have won that game. Why is he asking about Avatar: The Last Airbender?
What does it even mean?
You don't even know what it is?
I mean, I know what Avatar is, but not.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why are you people crazy? That's what I don't understand.
There's a lot of crazy people.
Do we have deck lists? Can we see the
We're
deck
getting
lists?
off one of the two just looking right at the recording.
Okay.
No, they're just like laughing at each other.
But yeah, so a lot of people thought the metagame for this would be, you just stole my water. Your order? You just totally stole my water. Just casually stealing my water.
Can I get my chips, please? Thank you. I'm just stealing everyone's water.
Okay, so for the semifinals, we'll be watching Jason Ford against Jody Keith.
You guys want some?
No, thank you. Who we have not seen yet on camera.
Judges.
So that matchup, so Jason Ford is playing the blue-green red Valakut?
Yeah.
So this is a Valakut dominated tournament, 3 Valakut decks and a